You gotta say it again because I stopped the recording.
No, you didn't.
I did.
Oh my god. Hey-o! Did I come closer that time?
Yeah, you did. Hey, everybody.
Sup?
Minor recording issue tonight. We are sorry.
Please don't.
Oh,
Please, yes.
Shannon said please don't. Good hey-o to everyone out there.
I don't care about your ears.
Man,
Just
brutal.
get new ears.
Just get new ears.
Yeah.
So, it's Sunday. Happy Thanksgiving weekend to everyone. I'm Judge James.
I'm Judge Evie. Thanksgiving week.
This is Living for Crits, and I'm complaining about my hair again. I think I have Piter DeVries hair. You know who Piter DeVries is? I kind of have Piter DeVries eyebrows going on a little bit too. Like,
what is that?
Piter DeVries, if my lips were all like stained, I'd have it. Piter DeVries was one of the Mentats from Dune. He was the Mentat of the Harkonnen family.
I thought it was like a thing.
No, well, it is a thing. He's the Mentat for Baron Vladimir Harkonnen, or Harkonnen, depending on which one you're watching. I guess.
I don't care if I'll see you in a week. You're gonna get the
you
Halo
get to
in person.
meet. You get to meet Shannon.
We'll get the Halo.
You know, Shannon. I tell you what. So whoever sees Mordain 76, that's my friend Shannon, who we game with all throughout college. We played a crap ton of Alternity together.
Well, you're getting
a very underrated
in person.
System.
So
it's by the juice of Safu. My lips acquire stains. This something, yeah. So
I'm gonna hail everybody.
Well, Evie inherit my hair. I hope she doesn't inherit my hairline because that's awful. Wow. You shouldn't. Cause that's a guy thing.
My hair looks fine.
I'm sorry. I'm scratching my nose a bit. I don't know why. All right. Well, we had a big episode today because we got a ton of questions.
Can I scroll through it?
We've got a lot of questions.
I posted on Instagram for like the first time in a long time.
And so many questions to do with Star Wars. So we're gonna like move into. We're gonna kind of split up our question section. What do you say? Well, as mean as she is to me, I hope she does. To what? Oh, get your hair. Oh, that's rough.
You really are getting the hayo.
We're gonna
bring the fight. You bring it the thunder.
We're gonna talk about. We're gonna do a Judge Evie Presides section, which is our traditional Judge Evie Presides. You have some great questions there from the lurking listener Gberdex or Gberdex. And we have a great question from Evie's friend Gracie.
Like 15 questions.
And we have some questions. We have questions, and Greg has a question or a comment that's more of a general comment. Oh, that's answer. It means when we're going to answer. We'll get to you. All right, don't worry. I have the show notes worked out. When I do a show note,
that's you.
I put my notes in because that's how your notes are on your phone. I'm guessing, right?
Oh no, I have no notes.
Great. And then we're going to move into the Savage Star Wars. The DCC Star Wars. Maybe a different show, be Savage Star Wars. A DCC Star Wars conversation that'll be a separate portion of a more expanded Judge Evie Preside section, which is kind of like a Judge James Preside section that will go into,
This is the longest show notes
we have a bunch
of
questions that had to do with Star Wars from all y'all. We got some from Dino Guy 515.
He said he's never actually watched the show.
Who is that?
That's John's cousin.
Okay. We got a question from Judge Will. We got Gabriel sent us a question. Jeff Seuss sent us a question. So we're going to go into all those questions, but we're going to do those as part of the Star Wars section because they're all Star Wars related, and they actually all cover kind of what we want to discuss with Star Wars. I do want to, before we go into Star Wars, I'm making a note here.
You do.
What?
He said we need a creepy spell book you can read questions from. You need a creepy spell book?
Yeah, your DCC book.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get mine.
Yeah.
Cut those here.
You do.
Let's look at some questions.
That's actually my favorite thing about Dungeon Crawl Classics is being able to just, as a wizard, have your book in front of you. So this is going to be a long one tonight, and we're just going to sit back and start doing this. If you have questions you want us to answer during the show, please toss them into the stream chat. And we'll go from there. So we got a lot of folks on. So Sean's on, Keith's on, Shannon's on. Who else is on?
Scott's
Jones on, Scott's on.
Where's John?
Rob's on.
Where's Gracie at?
I don't know.
Wait,
I said Sean, and Greg's on. So it's a full house this evening.
No, it's not. They're not here.
All right, here we go. So this past week we got some cool things to talk about. Like this weekend we did I got back into miniature painting. It's been a few months. Quite a few miniatures. My favorite thing is, as my friend Shannon, not the same Shannon is watching now, my friend Shannon, who's in our DCC Lankmar game, calls it.
Kringle.
The Kringle Cobra.
Oh, wait.
In the lighting here, he looks cooler up close. What was that?
Some guy.
Okay.
That.
But this is the Kringle Cobra. It is a giant king cobra from Reaper Bones. This was part of the Reaper Bones 4 Kickstarter, and this is like my favorite thing I got from the Kickstarter. I finally painted it, and I thought it would be cool to do a red and green coloring in honor of the holiday season, and we're trying to find a miniature like Santa hat for him.
They make Santa hats for
and a little Santa beard, right? Maybe. I don't know. What's the size? I mean, he's big.
Wait. I can measure it. Okay, he's like.
Here's a steam.
No. The size of my hand.
How's that gonna help him?
It's a wheel.
Right. It's roughly one Steam controller high.
No, it's the size of Judge Evie's hand.
So 140 millimeters. Yeah, maybe. I mean, a regular miniature is about that high. On Twitter, if you go to Living for Crits, or I Live for Crits, you can show a picture of him next to another Reaper Bone snake and a character. So
Gracie's apologizing like mad.
Why?
Because she's like, I didn't join. I'm so sorry.
Oh, she's fine.
And this one guy that's never been in our games, but's in the group chat's like, I'm gonna join. And we're like, okay.
Leave her be. All right.
I didn't say anything.
Keith Mutazoidus, I'm actually just primed a bunch of cheapy minis so you can practice and learn, then eventually paint Clank Legacy Acquisitions Incorporated miniatures. That's awesome. I really, really enjoy miniature painting, and like every summer, as if you go back into our old shows, you'll see I did a 30 days 30 miniatures in the summer, which I'll do every summer is my plan.
It's only the summer?
I mean, to do them like that where I have to finish one a day, I think. Right now I'm trying to work through more monsters because with all of the
let's see.
With all of the Dwarven Forge stuff we have coming, there's a need for more monsters in my games, and so well, Jeff's on. Jeff, you do not miss a ton. We haven't even gotten to Judge Evie Presides yet. We're still talking about this past week.
I still have my entire week to talk about.
It's a bit more than 4 inches.
No, it's 5 inches.
Okay.
5.5. So now everyone knows that my hand's about 5.5 inches long.
The other thing from this weekend, gaming related, is we had our DCC Lankmar campaign yesterday. That was cool. Judge Evie wasn't there, but everyone else was. And we played through an adventure called No Small Crimes in Lankmar, our second adventure, which, spoiler on the cover, I won't talk much about it. I think this is out of the box set, maybe? I'm not sure. This is a great adventure. I would not run this as a meat, although you can. I'd run it as like a second adventure. But this is a really cool adventure. And we had 2 wizards and 2 thieves in the party, and not having your warrior totally changed the dynamic because the players were so much more careful and didn't do any charging in, and really were never in any great risk except for one time when they were fighting a giant spider, where one of the wizards was in danger because he was isolated from the rest of the group. That was Grumlull, Grace's dad's, Eric's character.
Yeah, you just said Eric.
Yeah, great Eric. Yeah. I don't know why I said Grace's dad. I don't know if you knew his name. We played with him once before, but she wasn't there. She had a sleepover, so
yeah, I was with my.
She bailed.
I was watching it though at 3 a.m.
How'd you like it?
I watched about a third of it, and then I passed out. But I mean, it was a third of it. It was pretty good. It's better than the first one from the 90s, 80s, 90s.
I think it was the late 80s or early 90s, or like 1990. You mean the one? You mean the one with the guy from Rocky Horror?
Sure.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Come on.
The one that you made me watch, and then I was afraid to get a shower for like months.
I did not fall asleep
2 minutes.
I didn't make you watch it.
Mm-hmm. I did not fall asleep 2 minutes in. It was like 25.
Well, before we go into Judge Evie Presides, how was your week since last show?
Well, so it's been great since we had the entire week off because, you know, parent-teacher conferences and all that jazz hands.
Okay.
I watched Disney Plus movies of Camp Rock because that's our next school musical. Well, the middle school is. So I was practicing my audition for that. And what else did we do? We went to see Mean Girls.
The musical.
Yeah.
In Philly.
Mm-hmm.
Did you like it?
Yeah. It was
Okay.
snazzy. And I was listening to the music for that.
Snazzy. It's a snazzy musical.
Snazzy. It was so fetch. Okay. You don't know what that means, do you?
No, what fetch means.
Have you never watched the movie Mean Girls?
I mean, it's been a long
Gretchen
time.
makes fetch a thing.
It's been a long time. Like early 2000s, mid 2000s, right?
Okay.
Scott says it's
Yeah.
the perfect time of year to watch Anna and the Apocalypse. I don't know what that is.
I went to see Frozen 2 with Gracie
There we go.
and Carrie, but like, it was okay. You're cringy.
Sean said, Judge Sean says fetch is cringy.
You're cringy.
Nice. Insult our viewers.
Oh, Daddy Pasta 6, get out of here. I know who you are.
Who's
so
Daddy
don't
Pasta
It's
6?
John.
Is that John? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Whereas he's like, what does he say now? He's like, Father Linguini.
That's a saying now?
Wait, what does he call
You
himself?
say that?
It's like, not Daddy. It's like, Father Linguini.
What else did you do this week?
We did set breakdown for Hunchback, which was sad.
That was before our last episode, though,
I know.
so it
No, it
doesn't
wasn't.
count.
Oh, it
Yeah,
was.
it was.
Most of them last week. What else did I do?
I think that's it. You had a boring week.
No. I just went on Friday. I forgot what I did on Friday.
Well,
Went to
let's
IKEA.
We went to IKEA Friday to buy new shelving units for my Dwarven Forge stuff.
And then,
'Cause I need shelving units.
I went to a sleepover and fell asleep more than 2 minutes in. So it was like 3 in the morning.
Let's move into Judge Evie Presides.
Wait, and then we put the Christmas tree up. We did that,
did.
and that's about it. And then we ate IKEA meatballs.
I made IKEA meatballs.
Mm-hmm.
Now we'll move into Judge Evie Presides. So this is a segment of our show where if you want to ask questions to Judge Evie, who won't do any kind of backup reading and study for them, so Judge James has to read most of the answers, as this has become, send them over.
I studied. You walked in there. I was like, I'm looking at the questions.
All right, so we're gonna go into we have 2 questions we have put into the Judge Evie Presides segment, and we have 2, and the rest we put into the Star Wars segment. So we're gonna get to everyone's questions and comments this week.
See, but there's more than just one.
Why don't you start with
Gracie
the one from Gracie?
John /
Start with that one.
bunch of other things. What the crap a doodle doos? Okay. Okay, don't judge me. Okay.
Do you want me to read the first question? I'll read the question.
I'm gonna read. No, I have them set up.
Yeah,
I'm
but
reading the
while
questions.
you're reading, I'll read Greg's question. Comment.
No, because I have to read it in my voice.
Oh, that's right. Everyone wants to hear the voice.
Yeah, so I can do a great Grace question. Do I read this one too?
Sure. Read that question. Read that question first.
To the game. Okay.
Do whatever you want.
What's the saddest pet loss you have ever experienced? Well, in a game, because we're making these game related. Ew, I don't have pets.
Yeah, you've never lost a pet.
I mean, there's Brock,
Who was Brock?
Mom's little zombie.
Oh, that was sad. That
so
was
sad.
upsetting. He wasn't really a pet as much as he was. So that was in our chain coffin
That was
Shutter
with Jeff.
Mountain campaign, where my wife was playing the wise wizard McBride, who was a cleric.
Is she gonna hear this?
And she had she had Brock, a zombie that followed her around, like a little ghoul or something. And it died. Or died a second time. And she was very sad. So, I don't know. That was your saddest moment was Brock's death? That's a pet, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, there was Jeffrey and Janice and
But those weren't
Mock
yours.
and Spock and not Spock.
All the ducks.
Yeah, just the ducks. Yeah, those aren't
DCC
mine.
does give you a lot of animals to play with. Next question.
She wants to pretend to be me, so I'll just say like the first thing. She's like, "Question time." Like that sounds like Gracie, right? She's like,
Shannon's back. We're deep into Judge Evie Presides, meaning not that deep yet.
Now this is John's question.
Okay.
But he was just too afraid to send it, apparently. Or whatever, some excuse.
You're being rough on your friends.
I know. I'm a rough person. So, you gotta talk like him. Wait.
Read the question.
Also, what are some good ways to start out with being in or running games? He is like that. I can't do his voice.
That's not anything like how he sounds. All right, well, you answer it. You answer it. What's a good way for getting into games?
Well, don't do what I did, which was Snapchat people pictures of you, be like, "Hey, you should play in my game." And then I got
that is what you did, isn't it? You were trying to get players, so you're Snapchatting people.
Yeah, I got left unopened.
Snapchat didn't work.
Don't do that.
What did work?
So, I mean, not really anything, but you know.
What did you do to get your friends?
Oh my gosh, this is a big
game?
argument. Okay, so we're in ATP one day, and I hear John. I'm sitting in the back. Just let me set the scene. So we're sitting at this square table. It looks like a square, and I was like on the one side, but then like I was on the one end, and John and Gracie were on the other end, and Maggie was like somewhere in the middle. I don't know where Maggie's at. I don't pay attention to her. I'm just kidding. Okay, anyway, so we were like, oh my gosh. They're like, he's like,
so, like, I want to play, like, 5e or something. Like, I heard about Dungeons and Dragons, but the only person who plays it is blah, blah, blah.
and I'm like, what did you say? So then I was like, oh my gosh, like, I've done that stuff since I was 5, so let me educate you. And he's like,
well, I want to play 5e.
and I'm like, well, there's this thing called Dungeon Crawl Classics, and it's so much better, so you should really, do that. And he's like,
Well, what does it really mean?
and then he goes up on the Chromebook. He's like, let me get a class Chromebook. And he's like,
Dungeon Crawl Classics.
this looks like a very interesting system. I'm like, well, it is. And he's like, can you sell me on it? So the next, 5 class periods, I had to, sell him on how great it was. And then I finally we made a group chat and all this stuff. And he's like, yeah, maybe we should, do a game. And I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna run through, a Mall game. And he's like,
Okay, let's see how I like it.
so we did that. And he's like,
I still want to play 5e.
and so we did that. That sucked. So then we were like, let's go back to, yes, that's not true. So then we went back and we played 5e, and it was a tragedy. And then we go,
It wasn't a tragedy. It wasn't DCC.
I'm giving you
It
my
wasn't-
spiel.
It wasn't terrible. It was
You guys, we
DCC.
So then we played DCC,
Big
and now
confused.
we're still playing DCC. And then on FaceTime, 2 nights ago last week, we were up to 3 in the morning, and he's like,
After running 5e for a while, I kind of like it better than DCC. Like, no shame or anything.
and I'm like, ah! I mean, I expected it.
The question was, the question was, how do you get someone into gaming? And your answer is, I annoyed the pants off them. I went on Snapchat, and then yeah, let's go into more questions. We're being asked to move on. I like a couple of the answers here. For instance, I like the answer from Rob, who says post a flyer at a local gaming store. Good idea. I would say if you're going to do that, especially if you are, under 18, make sure you have your parents' permission to do that, and then meet the players somewhere where it's in public the first time, so they don't just show up at your house if they're kind of, crazy. And
You did all of this. I mean, I have a bad memory, so you probably didn't, but in my mind, this is what happened.
All right. So anyway, Mutazoid Keys. I met someone in my local game shop, and he was looking at game systems. I showed him DCC, and he was so floored by the art that he and 2 friends bought a copy of the rule book. So, and then there's a spell called Summon More New Players. So, I don't know.
After this episode, I probably need to use that spell.
Because you're harassing your friends.
Well, Maggie's not on here, so she won't know any of this happened. So.
But anyway, so my advice is finding friends that are in are in adjacent nerd habits or hobbies, and to pull them into whatever you're playing, and then play whatever they want to play. So if they want to play DCC, if you want to play DCC and they have no thing they want to have to play, they're like, I'll play whatever, then play DCC. But if they say, hey, I want to play 5e, then freaking learn 5e for them,
Honey badger.
And then Shannon says, the Judge Evie method, badger people until they give up in exasperation and play with you. And then she kills you.
That's
The
right.
last part was Keith. All right, so that was a great, I will say, Gracie, these were great questions from you and John. So we definitely appreciate
You called
them.
him John.
Oh, Josh, crap. Why did I call him John? Because you keep calling him John.
Yeah.
The poor kid's name is Josh, and now I called him John because you guys won't stop calling him John.
Because his name is John.
And then Gracie is now indeed dead from Evie. Look at that. All right.
Wow.
Next question. I'm going to read this one.
No, you're not.
All right, you read it then.
Thank you. Okay. Yeah, you want what's a
You have to read. You know what? The next question
I
is.
looked this up.
Let me do the first part. It says, "Rookie Judge back again. Thanks for answering my questions last episode.
God,
How
we
about some
researched this
more?"
one.
In your best Monty Python Tim voice.
I actually researched this. I
All
was
right.
talking to John.
In your
I was
best
like,
Monty
Tim.
Python Tim voice. Go ahead.
what the
Start
heck is
here.
his voice?
Start
I
here.
forget. Wait.
No, just go for it. Start.
Oh my God.
Start with answer. Start there. Oh my God. You're Tim the Magician. Go for it.
No, I looked it up.
Go for it.
Wait.
Just do it. You can't pause. People want to hear the question. They don't want to hear us just like saying nothing.
Answer these magical questions 3.
This is not.
I know, because I forgot.
First
Okay.
question.
Shut up.
What is your least favorite spell in DCC?
Favorite?
He says mine is enlarged because there's so many role-playing applications in and out of
I know, I
combat.
forgot what
and
it's
Scott is
supposed to
correct.
be.
This is not Tim. Fail.
I did research though. Ask John.
Go ahead.
I did look it up.
What is your favorite and least favorite DCC spells?
Well, my favorite's probably Magic Missile or Flaming Hands.
You're the reason you like Magic Missile is why it's my least favorite my least favorite spell.
Why?
It's an adventure buster. I mean, it's a very necessary adventure buster. I mean, I think that Magic Missile is broken in so many ways in Dungeon Crawl Classics.
You're probably Flaming
But
Hands
it's
then.
broken in the best of possible ways because it's
fun,
such a
'cause
boss monster killer, especially in one shots.
Turn people into bombs. I'll get that. Anyway. Or, whatchamacallit? Flaming Hands, that's fun. I use
So
that
your
a lot.
attack spells. My favorite spell is Ekim's
No, I
Mystical Mask. It's super random, it's bizarre, and it's a spell where like every result has nothing to do with the last result, and yet I've seen so many cool first level and second level adventures, especially one shots, have problems get solved by some kind of rolling on Ekim's Mystical Mask on the chart. I think it's one of those spells where you can roll and you can pick anything from the highest item you pick on down. So it's a utility spell. It doesn't have a lot of combat use in game, but I think one of the actions boosts your armor class. I don't remember. It's always random. It's crazy. It's a cool spell. I love
When did
Ekim's
I
Mystical Mask.
shoot your pet?
And then I don't know what. And then, as I said, my least favorite spell is Magic Missile. I still like it, but it's a boss killer. So
Oh, my
good
least favorite
question.
one?
Second question.
Wait,
oh,
I
what's
still
your
have
least
to-
favorite spell?
What the heck is that one called that like does literally nothing?
Cantrip.
No, this is a different one. Oh my god, I just had it in my I just had it.
Man, your research, your studying did
No,
so
I
well.
just had it in my brain. Wait, I'm just gonna look it up.
Oh, we're not gonna keep. We can't wait on this. You
Yeah,
have to
I
keep
can't.
moving.
I'm
Why?
going to.
Because
What
our
the heck is it
viewers.
called?
You don't know. You don't know.
No, I forget what it's called.
Let's go to the next question because this is important. So read the next question in your Tim voice.
Oh no. Let me just do another voice and then see if I'm close.
Okay. This is
What
Tim.
is the craziest spell, miracle, magic combination you've seen?
Mercurial.
Is that
I
closer?
said miracle.
Was that
Mercurial. Not really.
It's better.
All right. So, who's Freckles?
It's me. Yeah.
All right. So the
Oh wait, I have this up.
Verdex, lurking listener Verdex says the funniest in their mind was Sleep. Number 14, Sleep of Ages was funniest, and Epic was Color Spray with a Rain of Frogs.
I got Tim something.
I'm gonna say that since now we don't really use Mercurial Magic very much in our home games of like core DCC, non-Lankmar DCC. I don't use it a lot in one shots. I usually would rely if the player of the wizard would keep up with the Mercurial Magic, then I figure we'd use it for their character. But if they didn't remember or weren't skilled enough to use them, I didn't hold it that strictly. For Lankmar, I'm using spell stipulations, and my favorite spell stipulation, which is like a Mercurial Magic effect, is that the wizard Grumlow, to cast Sleep, has to be facing east. So he has to constantly keep track of what direction he is as he's going through the adventure. If he loses track, he will not be able to cast a spell. So
Maybe
that's
it
what
was cantrip.
It probably was cantrip. All right, so what's your favorite or craziest mercurial effect?
Well, I don't even know what this means, but we were looking at the book earlier because I knew what this.
Because I asked what mercurial magic, and you said, "Oh, what's that?" Because Judge Eve doesn't know mercurial magic.
Okay, well, anyway, I like the one where if you cast a spell, then someone dies.
I mean, one of your family members or friends dies.
Someone he knows dies.
It's not one of the player
At great
characters.
cost, every time the wizard casts the spell, someone he knows dies.
That's brutal.
I know, that's why it's funny and fun.
That's a good question, though. Next question.
That was more Groucho Tim, so how do I be not as Groucho
Read that
Tim?
from there.
From what?
From what? Yes.
Oh. What was the most epic spell result in a campaign ever cast? Is that better?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I was close.
What spell result was epic?
Okay, so during DugCon.
So
During
Gen Con 2017, I think it was.
17? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, because 17 was that.
Inferno
when I
Road.
was. Oh, yeah, okay. So during Gen Con, then DugCon, but you know what I mean.
DugCon is DCC after hours if you don't know at Gen
Yeah.
Con. It's called DugCon because Doug Kovacs coordinates it.
Yeah. So I was at a table, and well, I
was
was
there.
like, what?
Go ahead, tell your story.
I know that. Okay, anyway. So I was standing, and I was running the game, and it was, like, kind of near the end. They were like,
You guys are gonna die soon. Oh no. Someone better do something. You gotta get saved.
so I was standing there, and so Tim DeShane was at the table. I didn't really know who he was by then. I mean, I don't think I did. Anyway, so apparently, I don't really remember this happening, but I think I either I think it was either
It
enlarged.
was the most memorable thing she doesn't remember happening.
It was either enlarge or magic missile or something like that. But like I think we casted it and he like fumbled or something, or he got like a critical or something. I don't know. Anyway, so I said that he like enlarged a lot and then he turned into like a bomb and he bombed every other table there and then everyone died.
That was epic. Everyone
It was
died.
so epic. So you killed DugCon. So yeah,
You
that's
killed
fun.
DugCon with enlarge.
Or magic. I don't know what it was.
Not a wizard casting it, but in our long-running online campaign, my good friend Andy had a cleric named Soph Retaf. And Soph was the kind of character that when he first rolled him up, he was like, this character isn't the best. I think he was a 13 personality. Wasn't the best cleric to start. Several times he tried like just retiring him just because he didn't want to. He felt like he had, I think, taken too much stamina damage from constantly being knocked out. I don't know what the deal was, but Andy was thinking about retiring him. Well, he went the entire campaign, and we were in the end of Peril of the Purple Planet, and they were fighting the Great Orm Mother, this giant worm. It was a pitch battle where at first it seemed like there was no chance they were going to kill this thing. And Andy rolls a natural 20 on his paralysis spell, and then luck burns down so far that they essentially paralyzed this Orm Mother like permanently, and they were able to just beat the snot out of it and kill it. So they wrapped up to cap off the 13th game of this epic box set adventure and close to 30 games of this long-running multi-year monthly online campaign. It was pretty cool that it was the little cleric that the cleric that was like literally the nobody that came out and cast the spell and pulled this off. So it was the most DCC epic action ever. So
We're already 30 minutes.
those
in.
are good
I'm not
questions.
gonna know
We're
what the
30
first
minutes
time
in. We
is.
have more questions. We're going to keep going here. And Shannon says, I see Evie has inherited Jim, the character killer's bloodlust. He used to call me the character killer back in the day. Yeah.
Back in my
I used to
day.
have a campaign crematorium on my GeoCities
What's
account.
a crematorium?
What's GeoCities? GeoCities was where you had your own website.
Like Webkins?
Yep, GeoCities was just like Webkins. All right, I'm going to read the next one here. This is short.
Oh.
This is from Greg Schwarzkopf, is just saying that I will be at PAX on Saturday the 7th, as will we, from 10 to 6. Have to link up. I'm hoping to meet both you and your dad there, either in the free play area or at Carolina Game Tables. I will miss Savage Saturday night. That sucks. But 2 people from my game group will be there. I'll be plan better next year. Have a great holiday. I hear the wind will be impressive. The wind?
Oh yeah, we're supposed to get snow like all morning tomorrow.
Well, listen,
I'm
Greg,
so
definitely email us. All right, we'll find some time to connect for sure. Absolutely.
Iron Age of Webkins was the Iron Age of the internet.
No, GeoCities was. All right, let's go into Star Wars, the Star Wars section, since we're a half hour into our show already, and I'm sure viewers are getting a little tired of hearing us rant. I do want to put. We're going to go into this DCC Star Wars kick. I do want to say that I do enjoy other ways to experience Star Wars. Just as proof, I do own the Edge of the Empire core book and Age of Rebellion, and I own every Edge of the Empire like splat book that came out. I have played it. I have GM'd it several times. You have played it several times. You were the Wookiee when we played with the pre-gens. I have had my own character in a Age of Rebellion game. I was a technician. I was a Mon Calamari technician in a game run by my friend. I'm trying to remember. I think it was Andrew Cady ran it. My friend Will Keller was in it as well. All right, so here's the deal with this. All right, this is a tough game for me because of the dice mechanics and how girthy these rules. These rules.
That's so girthy.
Yeah, these. Look, this is thick. You know,
so thick.
This is a lot of stuff in here, and a lot of these rules in here. I don't know. They're headache inducing. I mean, just reading through some of the stuff. Like, all right. I mean, first off, you know, I have a hard time remembering all these symbols mean. Okay, like it's tough for me. I think the first one is hits. The second one is I don't know. The third one is I don't know. The fourth one is I don't know. I don't know what these are. All right, so Sean says girthy. The DCC book is thick as well.
No, it's not.
It is, but most
what
of these
are you talking about?
Most of these are spells. The rules in this book, the rules in this book are like this, and the rest is spells and monsters and things like that.
Yes,
this is a lot.
This is not as girthy as that thing. The girth is real.
With Star Wars, the Rise of Skywalker coming out, right? I am tempted to run this again. I don't know who I'd run it with. I honestly think your friends would enjoy this just for the fact.
No, but literally Gracie's never even seen Star Wars. Not one movie.
Never mind. I thought Josh would like it because it has.
John would like it
because it has like all the character options. Like you get to pick your alien species. You get to pick what your concept is. You know, what is a Star Wars? Oh my gosh.
I thought we were.
So I at some point I would like to run this again, but this is the kind of game in my mind your players. I think your players have to be invested in knowing the rules. Oftentimes, since I'm running games for my family or for kids, I have to own all the books, know all the rules, and make all the characters. Like literally, Evie and my wife can't level their own characters.
What are you talking
about? You can't. And when we were playing, you can maybe muddle through. Jen can kind of muddle through. When we play. When we played this, my son Cooper was playing with us. This is like 3 years ago, too. And he definitely couldn't level his character at 6 years old. And Carrie was playing back then and couldn't level characters. So I would like to try this at some point again. I just don't know when it's going to happen. But I tell you what, it is a cool book. The dice give me a headache. I think I'd learn the dice better if I played more with it. But we're not here to talk about Edge of the Empire. We don't talk
about that girthy stuff.
We're here to talk about Dungeon Crawl Classics.
The not girthy thing.
So
what does girthy even mean?
It means like
is that
heavy.
A real word?
It means like heavy.
Is
like
it a real word though?
Yeah, like I'm carrying around a lot. I have this giant stomach. You know, so
girthy and a wait no.
Yeah, I do. So look, let's go into. If you see my arm, I'm not injured here. You know, this is paint. Yeah.
Girth.
Thick.
Girth.
Massive.
I know it was an actual word.
Tomish.
Tomish.
No, it's not Tomish. All right, so let's go into these questions because the question we got from our viewers, I think, will take us through the conversation here the best way. And we're going to start with Judge Will. D&D.
Wait.
Let me read this one.
No.
We'll go back and forth. D&D often gets it. This is not Judge Evie Presides. This is like literally just in the question section. D&D often gets a bad rap when players try to hack it to work with every possible genre. Is doing that with DCC also a bad idea?
Never.
And then when are you going to run something higher than a funnel? Are you going to stream it? No Road Crew shoutouts this week. Stupid Thanksgiving. Judge Will. All right. Evie, answer his question. Or did you answer
D&D
it?
already gets a bad rap on like everything, so we're gonna.
It doesn't. It's like the most popular role playing ever made. But go ahead.
Well, that doesn't matter. Okay. Anyway.
That was my foot. I cracked my foot. So you don't think it's you don't think DCC will get a bad rap?
No, it's like known for this.
It's known for Star Wars? No, it's known for Star Wars.
Is this just us?
It does what?
Like does everyone else morph into Star Wars too?
I hate to break this to you, but like the fact that we do DCC Star Wars is just an us thing. It's not an everyone thing. Yeah, there's no license to do DCC Star Wars.
Oh.
We're just
hacking the systems.
We've been doing this hack since 2015 for DCC Star. We've been doing DCC Star Wars since the spring of 2015 in some way, shape, or form. It wasn't official. There's nothing
hacking
official
the
about
systems.
this.
Like what?
We
did it in Gen Con and no one caught on.
Yeah, people caught on. They came and played in the game.
Yeah.
But you can do Savage World Star Wars. You can do. I've done a lot of Cypher System Star Wars.
We had the license.
No, we don't have the No, first of all, we have no license whatsoever. Goodman Games. We are not like official representatives of Goodman Games.
We're cheerleaders.
Second, Goodman Games does not have the license for Star Wars. As Sean says, you got to pay the mouse to make it official. And right now, the license is held by Fantasy Flight Games. I think you would know more. You know, we're looking here at the Star Wars, the Star Wars X-wing champion of the Walls House. I mean, Judge Evie.
No, but like we ran it in Gen Con, so like we have to have some license.
No, you don't.
Then why did they kick us out?
Because there's no. Why would they kick you out?
I don't know. You said we had to get a license.
No, I never get a license ever.
That's what you just said.
No, to write for it officially. Like to publish a book.
Write for it. No, we don't do none of that.
All right, so my comment on this is that given that DCC is like my favorite system, I kind of want to play everything with it, or at least try running everything with it. And if you take, like, in conjunction with Mutant Crawl Classic, some additional rules and options, and all the third-party materials, I've been able to run a lot of different games, not just Star Wars, but other games using the DCC game engine. So I've done pulp games and, you know, bug hunters, like when you're going around killing aliens. I've done Disney games with it, like where you're Disney princesses. You can run anything with DCC in some way, shape, or form. Now, I may not play as well as playing a game designed for that setting, but I don't know. I just feel like this is something where we'll get a bad idea. Is it a bad idea? Maybe. I don't know.
It's not a bad idea.
If people play and have a good time, it's not a bad idea, right?
Exactly.
As to the funnel or higher, most of the games I run
They're talking to me.
Are what?
Like, they're talking to me.
Oh, is that you?
To me, because last time.
Oh, cool. That's a good point. So go ahead and read it then. So
We've already read it.
Or answer it. When are you going to run something higher than a funnel? I forgot about that. You were talking to her. Go ahead.
In the future.
Wimp.
What?
Shannon says, when people hack D&D for other genres, I think it's weird when people use the D20 system or Cypher system or the alternative system to different genres. As those systems discuss supporting different styles, I think it works better.
What the heck is a fudge or a GURP?
Fudge and GURPS are generic role-playing game systems, like Savage Worlds. It's something that can do anything. So with...
There's something called a GURP?
GURPS. Like generic universe role-playing.
So it's like DCC?
No. GURP is, there's no... When you play DCC...
Is it a game?
Yes. When you play DCC, there is a understanding when you're playing it. It's a you're getting this. You are a bunch of fantasy characters. This is you. You're Hugh Hefblade, the warrior, whatever his name is, and you were running around with this. This is going to happen when you're playing DCC. This is going to happen in your game. That's the belief. It's fantasy role playing. Wow. GURPS does not, or Savage Worlds doesn't have, even Cypher System doesn't have a set genre attached to it until you bolt one on. So that has so even like this, you could take the Star Wars rules before the Genesis system came out, and you could try to run a fantasy game with this. You could try to run Dungeon Crawl Classics with the Star Wars Edge of the Empire rules. I don't know how it works.
There'd be something else.
It would be.
Riffs. Oh. Same riffing?
No, rifts, not riffs.
Oh.
So, Josh says, I think you can do other genres of D&D, but other systems work a lot better. So D&D does port well, I felt, to like steampunk games. It does an okay job. You could explore, like you can do a cool modern fantasy game with D&D if you just add some guns into the game and some tech, and you get your game going for modern. But I don't know. I think you can do anything with any system if you want to, right? Oh, generic, not generic. Did I say generic?
I don't know what you said.
Where is that? All right, next question. This is from Dino Guy. Go ahead and read it, Evie.
Wait, I gotta read it how he said it. He typed it as, "How do you leak the Mandarin on Dine Minus? I leaked the Baba Yod."
I think he means, how do you like, the Mandalorian
on Disney Plus?
Disney
I like the Baby Yoda.
Do you like the Mandalorian?
Yes.
I love the Mandalorian.
The Baby Yoda is adorable.
It is.
And I looked online, and that Disney announced they make.
Don't spoil it. They are. We already spoiled it a little bit, but okay.
No, I'm just saying they're making stuffed animals.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
All right, watch The Mandalorian on Disney Plus. All right, that's all I gotta say.
Yeah, Gracie, you should watch some Star Wars and just.
Next question. This is from Gabriel. Go ahead.
Is this the last ones?
No, there's this one.
There's many more.
There's a couple more. There's like two more questions. This one and this one. There's two more.
Yeah, but these all have like
Gabriel
4 parts.
and Jeff Seuss has one.
Yeah, but this is 4 parts.
There's a lot to this question, but go ahead. But this is important because this really kind of covers a lot of how you're going to do the DCC Star Wars. So Gabriel's question is a fantastic question. Go for Gabriel's question.
Where's Gabriel's question?
Right there.
Oh.
I have 3 questions.
I have 3 questions.
Read Hello Judge Evie first, though.
Hello Judge Evie. I have 3 questions regarding the use of DCC with Star Wars. What voices will you read these in? Darth Vader, Jar Jar Binks, Yoda, Mando, etc.
All right. So what voice are you? What Star Wars voice is
I'm gonna
this?
do Darth Vader.
All right. Go ahead.
Oh, would you handle the numerous Star Wars species in DCC? Species as class or favorite text or something else?
I think that was.
Want to do that one first?
Yeah, I just read it.
All right. So answer. So what's? All right. So go ahead and how would you do it?
Wait, I have to read it. I was not paying attention.
I'm gonna answer first because I'm
you
ready.
Read it because I'm. You say.
So in my opinion, the aliens in Star Wars.
Good luck.
In my opinion, the aliens in Star Wars don't need a lot of real specific roles. If you
I totally agree.
if you watch the movies, I don't know. I don't feel like, with the exception of like Toydarians and they're flapping their wings around and being resistant to Jedi mind tricks and stuff, or with I don't know, Wookiees being super strong. Most of the alien species, I think, could just be considered like a human, and just call it something else and deal with it in a role-playing fashion. That said, in my rules hack, which last week I posted the link to it off of my livingforcrits.com site, I made Ewoks the halfling. I reskinned Ewoks or halflings to be Ewoks with the luck. The luck battery and dual weapon wielding and being kind of killers. Or do minor trade-offs. Like if it's a Wookiee, maybe you can say something like a Wookiee gets to add a deed die to any strength-related task, you know. But on the flip side of that is that most people can't understand them because they're speaking Shriwook, right?
I 100% agree on everything you just said. Moving on to the next question. Oh, wait.
This is the way, as Scott just said. Go ahead.
How would you model a character who is both a great combatant and skilled in the use of force powers? like with Jedi and Sith.
So how would you do that, Evie?
Well, if you have they just be both.
No, but how would you do it with DCC?
You just give him a bunch of snazzy spells.
Snazzy smells?
No, yeah, you
give him spells.
Yeah, and
Space wizard. Rob just said Jedi space wizard.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, and like look at the spells, and they'll be like.
I think the core DCC class that would fit the best, if you want to make spells force powers, the core DCC class that would work best is the elf. If you look at the elf and you reskin the elf, they are decent combatant.
They can do spells
and
they
can have
fight.
spells.
Yeah, like John.
Alternatively, if you want to pick up a really cool zine, Crawljammer Zine number 3 has the Psychic Knight, and I reskinned the Psychic Knight. If you're one of the players in my game on Sunday at PAX Unplugged, the Dark Side Devotee, which is a Sith wannabe, is a Psychic Knight. They get a cool Psychic die, or we'll call it Force die, and that Force die allows them to do cool snazzy things.
Stuff. You're using snazzy too
I
now.
am.
I say snazzy all the time.
So there we go. That's how I would do it. Next question. Good. Those are great questions, Gabriel. Thank you so much for sending them in. So right here.
Who's this from?
This is from Jeff Seuss.
Where did it say that?
I wrote it right there.
Oh.
Because I take care of the show notes, and you just come ill-prepared to do anything.
I am so prepared.
Okay, read this. I can't wait to hear your answers on this.
I'm not that prepared.
All right. Go ahead. Do it.
What voice should I do in this time?
Right there. Pick a voice. Do Jar Jar's voice. I'll read it. How do the mechanics of DCC match thematically with the Star Wars universe? Are Jedi like warriors or like wizards? Do you start with rebels and bounty hunters, or moisture farmers and junk collectors? Do you plan to funnel or meet? Is Jar Jar a playable character, or a random piece of equipment like a chicken or cow?
A playable character.
Where I want to start with Jar Jar voice. Where in the Star Wars timeline, do you set your crawl? Prequel era, original trilogy, or something else? I made that up. All right. So I just said that Psychic Knights and Elves are Jedi or Sith, but you could use Wizards as Force adepts. But I think it works best for the dark side with all the corruption and stuff. And yes. I actually really enjoy how the DCC Lankmar splits up white magic and black magic so separately. I think that's it has. I think that that would work for a light side, dark side setup with some tweaking, possibly. But you can hack a lot of the spells and tinker with them to have them fit. Essentially. Do whose voice? Jar Jar?
Yeah.
No, I don't know his voice.
Please.
As to whether it's a funnel or a meat, that's up to the GM. The Stormtrooper funnel concept has worked really well in convention play.
I remember that.
Exactly. Yeah.
When we had Adam Driver do it.
That was when we had it as we had it with we at Gary Con and Gen Con. We set up our. We were at Gen Con, but I wasn't at Gary Con myself.
I haven't had my muffin yet, Matt.
We based an entire Stormtrooper funnel, Stormtroopers of the First Order, based around the SNL sketch for Undercover Boss, and that was a good time.
Haven't had my muffin yet, Matt.
Evie played as Kylo Ren for most of the adventure, like circling the table, killing off characters. So, but I think however you want to run it, whatever you want to do, whatever fits best, you could do first level characters to be fine also. The next question he had, what?
Shh, just keep going.
All right. Just remember it. The next question is, when do you set it? So Rob's, they always run in KOTOR. So Knights of the Old Republic, Legions of Sith versus Legions of Jedi. It was.
Yeah, I remember that.
I always set my Star Wars games in the era that takes place after the destruction of Yavin 4 by the Death Star when the Empire wins the end of Episode 4. Because I always do my Star Wars games. Stop. My Star Wars games as I always do my Star Wars games in alternate history so that I can just jack with the timeline and I can mess with it and no one can say, well, that can't happen. Like, sure it can because, you know, Yavin 4 blew up and the Empire won. What? Evie Wren. No, yeah. Sean says Evie Wren. Yeah, it fits. I don't know. And Jar Jar is a piece of equipment. So, I don't know. Any comments on this, Evie?
What?
Any comments in any of this section here? Any answers from your
what
side?
section again? That Jar Jar? I remember this. I was researching this question. Well, I didn't really research it, but I thought
Is
about
Jar
it.
Jar a piece of equipment? Or...
No, he's a playable character.
Okay, so a Gungan.
What'd you say? I was writing too
What
many
would you
T's.
give a Gungan as for special ability? Remember what they do in Lego Star Wars?
Not really,
They
but...
jump really high.
Oh, then give him like enlarge or something.
You give him a spell, give him enlarge. Having
like,
a Jar
give them,
Jar
like,
as equipment is great.
Color spray. No, you should give him flaming hands.
Just
like,
give
Like,
all the
jump.
Jar Jars flaming hands.
They jump really high,
Gungans.
and they're like...
All the Gungans.
That'd be great.
All right, I think that's the last question.
Really?
Yeah, we go into Road Crew shoutouts.
How long is
I gotta say, we're at almost an hour, so we're gonna move right into Road Crew shoutouts here.
Oh, I got one.
Do you have one?
Yeah, I got one right before we started.
What from who? I have one too.
Oh, it's just the Rochester one.
All right, so it's the one we get every week. 'Cause it's a good one. We gotta talk about it. Okay, so read it real quick.
Hello! Road Crew shoutouts! D6 Games in Rochester, Minnesota is hosting DCC on Mondays at 6 p.m. Find out the story about the people in the pit. Thanks, Judge Sean.
And the other one is from, this is also from Road Crew shout from Scott Woodard. You can read the first word.
Oh my god, I got an email about this.
Read the first word.
Oh wait, yeah. He stole the hail.
For next week's Road Crew shoutout segment, Savage Worlds is coming to town to celebrate the season. The Southern California Savages is holding 2 side-by-side holiday-themed Savage Worlds games at Emerald Knights Comics and Games in Burbank, California. Join us Saturday, December 7th from 5 to 10 p.m. for either the Savage World of Flash Gordon, GM by designer Scott Woodard, or Deadlands Noir. Seats at the tables are first come, first served, and pre-gen characters will be provided. We hope to see you there. For more information, visit our Facebook event page, which I will, I'm going to post into the chat.
Post it in the chat.
There it is. All right, so with that, and then there's PAX Unplugged. So that's next Saturday from 5 to 10 if you're in Philadelphia.
Just mosey on down.
Just mosey over. I think Savage Saturday Night is booked. All my seats for DCC Star Wars are booked. If anyone from who watches our show, though, I'll say this. I have nothing really on my schedule for Saturday, late morning, early afternoon. If anyone from the show was looking for gaming and wants to do some gaming with us, can be convinced into running something.
Get closer. We go back to back.
So yeah,
really
just
hope
saying
that's a
that
cover
if
photo.
you're
That'd
going to PAX Unplugged, let us know. All right, where to find us elsewhere? At I Live for Crits on Twitter, Living for Crits on Instagram, or search Living for Crits on YouTube for our long catalog. If you've enjoyed the show and you're on YouTube, please like, comment, and subscribe. If you're catching us on Twitch, we would love for you to share our channel with other people and tell them you should watch these people because they're crazy.
Whoa.
Or not.
Is there a button here?
I don't know where the button's
Where's the button at?
We're back next Sunday at 9 p.m. Eastern for our PAX wrap-up show. We should be just getting home in time for that. So with that, let's go on to our outro ASMR.
Squish.
What was that from?
It's from last week.
I'm going to say Mandalorian.
I can see my... Oh, guys gotta be quiet. Hush, hush. Or as Gracie says, she's like, shh. Okay. I'm gonna do it. Give me the microphone. No, I can do it. I haven't had my muffin yet.
Good night, everyone.